while we set up and switch to the connection, Skype connection with Jake, is there any question for Sander or Annie Machon? Just there. Over there. I got it. Whoop, I'm now doing everything. Can you please there? Oh, wait. Yes, you go first, yeah.
It's to the MI5 lady.
Can you stand up, please?
Yeah.
Can you stand up, yeah.
Protecting your sources and not taking something electronic with you, how does that work with the current technology around facial recognition? Because that's a facial map, so any camera on your route will identify you, and also number plate recognition.
Absolutely, and it gets worse than that. I don't know how many of you in this room have heard of trapwire. Can anyone hear me? Is this working? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
It gets worse. Okay.
Sander, maybe you also go up there. You both go up there. Please go to the chairs, then they can set up with Jake. Thank you very much. That's funny, yeah? I'm sorry. Okay. Oh. Okay.
I feel like I've been put in the naughty chair. Yes, it gets worse than just pure facial recognition. How many of you have heard of a program called Trapwire? One or two. This is where all these different programs are now being melded together. So you can get facial recognition, you can get real-time surveillance as you walk around the streets, you get behavioral, predictive algorithms being written about the way you walk or the way you might be standing or loitering in a suspicious manner. So potentially, this program is going to mean that they can follow us in real time, they can identify us in real time, and they can suspect us in real time because we're loitering in a dangerous manner. So yes, it is difficult. One thing I would suggest is if you have a recognizable style, so I'm quite well known for usually wearing black and hair down. If you want to go and disguise yourself, just change that completely. Go bland. Get into the beige, put your hair up, put a hat on, put the hood up, whatever it is. And change your walking gait as well. Stick a stone in your shoe or something like that. So there are various ways of doing that. And also, if you're going to duck through, say, a department store, you can change how you look before you come out again. So you can put your hair down, or you can take your hat off, or put your glasses on, or whatever. So it's just thinking in this really paranoid way about how to fool the system so that there isn't an evidential chain that can link you from this spot to that spot where they might potentially find out that your source has been.
This is a question for Sander.
Yeah?
Should we be worried about the recent spate of busts on hidden services, on Tor hidden services?
Should we be worried about what? About
the recent busts of
the FBI and joint FBI and Europol bust. I don't think so. I think pretty much the security of Tor hidden services is not compromised itself. I think they, as far as we know, they used normal investigative methods to find some of these sites. For instance, the Silk Road 2 website that was also in that bust. The guy who was running that was using extremely bad operational security. He was using his own name to register some of these servers. He had his server set up in such a way that it would automatically send an email to him when the FBI started pulling servers, and it was sent to his personal email address. So I think pretty much normal investigative methods were being used. And it's been blown up way above proportions to try and scare people after using it. This is also reflected in the number of sites that was claimed to have been taken down. It started by 400 and then 40,000 and then 27 or something like that. So I think pretty much the security is still good. So.
Okay, last question.
To you. To be honest, I find it quite funny, like what you are telling. It is like, I know it from films and it's fun to hear, but I would say 98% of the people that are here do not really have the need to do this kind of play, so I would love to get some quality, like some thoughts on you of who is really in trouble in that kind of way, like who are they after with 20 people? How many of them are here in this room today? No, but like honestly, like, you know, what is like the danger for which kind of journalist? I mean, you maybe know like how many people would be after a journalist like me, and who like what quality of Osama bin Laden or Julian Assange do you need to get 20 people after you?
You are from the TATS, right? Yes.
It's a very good question. As I mentioned, there is a sort of initial risk assessment that we all need to go through. And it depends which sector your source, your potential whistleblower, is coming out of. But if it is going to be central government or intelligence or the military, then they will have been notified under the terms of the Official Secrets Act, which means therefore they are automatically criminalised. We also know from leaks to WikiLeaks, ironically, that the US administration, which of course encapsulates most of our Western governments in Europe now, is specifically targeting potential whistleblowers. They deem them to be the insider threat. So anyone coming out of these sectors is going to be aggressively investigated. And when I say that, that's the sort of level where you will get your 20-person team trailing you around. It used to just be in the case of terrorists, but now it seems to be the insider threat is what makes them more scared. So if you are dealing with someone at that level, then you do need to not necessarily take all the steps I suggested, but think along those lines and take it seriously. Because that will be the only way that you can ensure the survival of your whistleblower. And of course, that means that you as a journalist will benefit in the long term as well. So it is always that initial risk assessment. But even so, a lot of major corporations do use corporate spies now, agencies like Kroll and Diligence and Aegis. And most of them are sort of former spooks. And they are even more unaccountable than the official spies. So it's a high-risk game for them. If they get caught, they get prosecuted, potentially. They can't hide behind this sort of notional accountability and national security arguments. But often they won't be, and they will use the same sort of tech to try and get at you, and the same sort of methodology.
Thank you very much.